there's a conversation there for sure. Whether it's tension, I don't know. I don't know a lot of digital artists that are like, oh, those traditional artists, or vice versa. But I think that there are people participate in different agreements. It's really all about the agreements we make. If someone agrees that, okay, this is a traditional painting, I can see that the artist was here and he spent all this time with it, and it's one of a kind and it's unique. That's a personal agreement that someone makes that this is something that's of greater value than if it was, a print was like, okay, the artist was here, but he's not here anymore, and there's 10,000 of these. What is more valuable? That's just there. This is actually, in reality, this has no value and this has no value. The only value it has is the agreement that someone makes. You have different people go, okay, I agree this is $10, and I had 1,000 people agree to pay me $10, so obviously this is $10, and this is okay. So I could find the person that would want to pay $3,000 or $5,000 for this. Then between them, we agree it's $5,000. Is it really $5,000? No, it's a piece of paper and paint. But we made this agreement. So that's all it really comes down to. It comes down to agreements and conversations. And so I feel that there's a shifting that's happening. I feel that there's kind of a paradigm where there is any sort of tension I see is within artists that have dedicated their whole lives towards the mastering of these traditional skills within their lifetime. After they came to a point of being really comfortable with traditional media, then there's this new paradigm of the digital tools coming up. And you have all these new artists that are younger that are able to master these digital tools. And there is a resistance, perceived resistance from traditional artists that have been traditional all their life, and they see this new technology, they're unfamiliar with it. I think a lot of attention that exists comes from not being truly educated on how it's done. People see a digital piece and they don't understand it. It's kind of it's mystifying, and they might assume that it's easy or it's a button. It's not something it's not as authentic as a traditional piece. And I think that's just going to come with time, and it's going to come with a couple other generations of younger people being exposed to digital art. I think the younger we get children that are able to experience and create digital art with technology like Wacom and computers, they're going to understand that it's all just an extension of the human imagination. And when people can get to that point and realize that everything we're making, that none of it's really real. We're all just the vibration of energy and atoms. So this is no more real than this is real. But what's real, what I think is real, is the intention and the idea that came behind it and the effort that an individual puts into it. And so hopefully I'd imagine a day where people can really see that for what it is. I don't think there's any one definition of art, and so this would just be like my personal, as of today, what am I thinking? Like, it's for me, it is an ongoing conversation. I believe that art needs to be, there's different qualifications that I think it has, or different sort of kind of like it's more of like parameters of art. I think for something to be considered art, there has to be an intention behind it, meaning that there has to be like a deliberate, I'm making this for the purpose of art. Otherwise, everything is art. Like the sunset is art, and this beautiful tree is art, before I used to consider art has to be something that's beautiful. Now I've kind of gone back. I think that good art, there's what is the art that I like? The art that I like has to be beautiful. But that's my own personal stigmata, because I don't appreciate a lot of like shocking art. There was a guy on Facebook that faked his own death a few weeks ago, and he called that art. That's bullshit, because he was trying to elicit a response. So there's a difference. So I think if it expresses, if you have an intention for it to be art, that's a good start. I enjoy art that shows a devotion, that shows an exercise of discipline, that shows a commitment from the person. Even if the art isn't the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, but I can see that there's a human being that's put 500 hours into this one piece of canvas, I can appreciate that. Because good art for me is when I can see through it, and I can see the spirit of the person that made it. I can either see their passion, or their commitment, their dedication, the ideas. I can see part of this spirit that wants to express something in between the lines and in between the brushstrokes. For me, that symbolizes good art. And also I know I can speak for Phaedra and I, we consider like the highest form of art is an art that when you view it, you're so inspired that it reconnects you with something that we would almost term as mystical, something beyond definition that awakens like a higher purpose in yourself, that makes you feel more connected to the universe, that reveals more potential inside of yourself. So I think for me, that's one of the missions of art. When I make a piece, I don't just make it because I want to show off all the things that I've learned. I want people to see it and be able to appreciate something, or see like, wow, this is just a guy, but he made this, and if he made this, then I can make this. This is someone that is going after their dreams or something that they want, in a non-conformist sort of pattern. Then it's like it empowers possibilities in the person. There's a lot of art that I've seen. There's famous artists. There's an artist named Ernst Fuchs he's an artist in Vienna. He's 80 years old. He's one of the originators of like the fantastic realism movement. But when I saw his art, when I saw what he was capable of for the first time last year in Vienna, it made me want to stand up taller as a human being. It made me prouder of like the entire species, because I saw that there's one person with enough time and discipline that was capable of producing something that was so amazing. And I think that for me, that's the power that art has, and it also has that power to communicate to people without the buffer of verbal or written language is another real power that it has. I think it's very important, and I think that it's, art is one of the, I guess you can almost say, like it's one of the consequences of consciousness, where it's or one of the fruits of consciousness, if you will. I think art is one of the most important things that we're able to create. The fact that there is a perceived creator, that created beings that have the ability to create, that's one of the most beautiful gifts that I can imagine. And so I see it as, the same. I see it as an opportunity and a responsibility that we all have. It's really important, and my wife and I have found so much importance with it that we've dedicated our life to it.